Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to share the 3-step process that has allowed me to pretty much eliminate procrastination from my life, get more stuff done, and start living the life of my dreams. If you're new to this channel, my name is Alex and I'm a mindset coach, but I'm also a recovering procrastinator. One of my specialities over the years has been avoiding taking action, but it's also caused me a lot of stress and played a huge role in me burning out when I was working at Uber, but also when I started my coaching business 4 years ago. Luckily, over the last few years, I've discovered how to overcome this terrible habit, which has pretty much changed the entire course of my life. And today I'm going to share my 3-step anti-procrastination formula with you so you can overcome it too. But first, why do we procrastinate? Well, procrastination is typically a way of avoiding discomfort. We do it because we don't want to experience what it feels like to be limited or imperfect. We do it out of fear of being confronted with our own limitations. For example, when I first decided to film this video, I noticed myself trying to procrastinate. I was avoiding it. I didn't want to face the discomfort of speaking in front of a camera. It reminded me of my fear of public speaking, made me feel like a failure and like I had nothing to say. And so procrastination would have actually allowed me to avoid feeling all of this. It would have allowed me to avoid feeling all of this discomfort. So procrastination actually has good intentions, but the problem is that it's just an avoiding strategy, and in the long run, it's just going to keep you stuck in this never-ending cycle of procrastination. And that cycle is procrastinate, start feeling guilty, then the deadline comes and you start to panic, then you make excuses so you can cope with the stress or the guilt, and then the cycle repeats itself, which makes it harder and harder to break the habit. Procrastination also impacts your self-confidence. Personally, I believe that one of the biggest killers of self-confidence is breaking promises to yourself. Because every time you say you will do something and you don't, you actually slowly deteriorate the relationship between you and your word. And so when you procrastinate, you're often breaking a promise you've made to yourself. You're not being true to your word. And as confidence is the result of taking action, not the cause of it, the more you procrastinate, the less you take action, the lower your self-confidence. So one of the easiest ways to rebuild that confidence is actually to restore the relationship between you and your word, and reducing procrastination is one of the best ways to do this. So the aim of this video will be to help you break this cycle so you can take more action, get more stuff done, but also increase your self-confidence. And by following the 3-step formula I'm about to share with you, you'll be able to get out of your way and stop procrastinating so you can finally remove the hold that it has over you. So let's get started. Step 1 is acknowledge the fear. The truth is that behind all procrastination is a fear. Fear of discomfort, fear of failure, fear of being confronted with your own limitations. And one of the antidotes of fear is actually acceptance, because whenever you shine a light on something, it automatically holds less power over you. And when you become aware of what you're avoiding, you can actually take the necessary steps to overcome it. For example, when I was procrastinating about filming this video, I was afraid of the discomfort that came from speaking in front of a camera. I was afraid of failing. But by acknowledging that fear, I was able to actually see what was happening and understand why I was avoiding it. And so I wasn't being lazy, I was actually unconsciously protecting myself against this fear. Which brings us to step 2, which is identify one tiny action. Imagine standing at the bottom of a huge mountain that you want to climb. You look at the top and you realize how far and how unreachable the peak is. You think of how long the climb is going to be and how exhausting it's going to be. And so this makes you feel anxious and maybe not too excited about starting. Now imagine that instead of focusing on the top, you focus on the next 100 meters. Way more manageable, right? And then you focus on the 100 meters after that. And again, and eventually you build momentum, and before you know it, you've made it to the top of the mountain. And so that's the power of tiny actions, because tiny actions help you get started. They help you get in motion. They help you build momentum, and they turn insurmountable tasks into actual achievable steps. So once you've acknowledged the fear that's making you procrastinate, identify one tiny action that you can take to get started. And if you don't know how, just ask yourself this question. If I only had 3 minutes to work on this task, what would be the first tiny action I would take? If it's an email that you're putting off replying, maybe that action could be writing the first sentence. If it's preparing for a presentation, maybe that action could be just opening your Google Slides. If it's filming a video about procrastination, that action could be just turning on the camera and start speaking. All you have to do is make the action so small that you actually have no excuse not to do it. Which brings us to the final step. Be brave and start. The best productivity hack you'll ever come across is this one. Start. Motivation is the result of taking action, not the cause of it. And when you procrastinate, it's often out of fear of discomfort, fear of failure, fear of rejection. But fear isn't something that you need to overcome. It's possible to do things scared, which is the definition of being brave, by the way. It actually takes courage not to procrastinate. It takes courage to face your limitations. It takes courage to take that first tiny action. And as Jerzy Gregorek says, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life. So choosing not to procrastinate is a hard choice, and that's why it requires courage. But it also means that your life will become easier as a result. So don't focus on the fear, focus on the fact that you are being brave right now by taking action, and excuse my French. So once you've acknowledged the fear, identify the tiny action, just be brave and start. And for those of you who struggle getting started, try Mel Robbins' 5-second rule technique. Next time you're hesitating about taking a tiny action, just count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. It's super simple but really powerful. She even wrote a whole book about it. But by following this 3-step formula, you should be able to break the procrastination cycle on a more regular basis and start taking more action. But as with everything, it takes practice and it won't always come naturally, but the more you break the cycle, the easier it will get over time. So go out there, start breaking that cycle, and always remember that it's in action that you'll discover things you would never discover by trying to figure them out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to go from feeling lost, dissatisfied, and emotionally exhausted to thriving with more clarity, confidence, and purpose, you can go take the free self-confidence test that's in the description down below. You can start it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love.